You just dropped $8,000 on a motorcycle, maybe 12. Maybe you're absolutely unhinged and it was 20. And then you rode it home in a pair of jeans, some sneakers, and a helmet you bought off Amazon for $37 because the picture looked cool. I get it, I really do. But here's the thing. You spent more protecting your phone with a case than you spent protecting your skull. And your skull has your brain in it, which is arguably more important than your phone, unless you're one of those people who still hasn't backed up their photos since 2019, in which case, I genuinely don't know what to tell you. Welcome back, everybody. If you're new here, my name is Carl, and I like motorcycles. A lot. Probably too much. My therapist and I are working through it together, and progress is slow. For the folks who've been here a while, you already know the deal. We talk bikes, we talk gear, we talk culture, and occasionally I say something that makes the comment section absolutely lose its mind, which honestly is one of my favorite things about doing this. Today we are talking safety gear. And before you click away because you think this is going to be some dry, boring, wear your helmet lecture that your riding instructor already gave you back when you were 17, just hold on a second. Because this isn't that video. This video is about the stuff that even experienced riders overlook. The items that people skip not because they don't care about their lives, but because nobody really explained why these specific things matter as much as they do. Some of this stuff is going to surprise you. Some of it's going to make you feel a little called out. And that's fine. We're all friends here. Speaking of friends, did you know we've got a Discord server with thousands of members? Riders, soon-to-be riders, people who are just vaguely curious about motorcycles and stumbled in one day and never left. It's a good time. Link is below. Every member also gets entered into our ongoing bike giveaway, which, yeah, we're giving away a motorcycle. Because why not? You can also head over to carlnewmerch.com, where every dollar you spend on our highly sophisticated, critically acclaimed designer merchandise is another entry to win. Okay, gear time. Let's get into it. Item 1, a quality helmet. Not just any helmet, all right, number 1. The helmet. And I know, you have a helmet. Congratulations. So does every guy on a moped in a country where the law requires one, and his helmet cost $4 and has a picture of a dragon on the side. Having a helmet and having a good helmet are two completely different things, and the gap between them is the difference between walking away from a crash and not walking anywhere ever again. Here's what most people don't understand about helmets. Not all certifications are created equal. In the United States, the minimum legal standard for a helmet is DOT certification, which stands for Department of Transportation. And look, DOT is better than nothing. But the testing standard for DOT certification is self-reported by the manufacturer. Let me say that again. The company that makes the helmet is largely responsible for certifying their own helmet meets the standard. That's like letting a student grade their own exam. Some students are honest. Some students are not. The certifications you actually want to be looking for are ECE 22.06, which is the European standard and is legitimately rigorous, and SADNEL, which is an independent nonprofit that tests helmets to an extremely high standard. If your helmet has one of those, you're in good shape. If your helmet only has DOT and cost you less than $150, I'm not saying it's going to fail you, but I am saying that maybe don't test that theory on the highway. Now let's talk fit, because even the most certified helmet on the planet is useless if it doesn't fit your head correctly. A helmet that's too loose is going to rotate on impact, which defeats half the purpose of wearing one. A helmet that's too tight is going to give you a headache on every single ride, and eventually you're going to start leaving it at home because it hurts, and that is the worst possible outcome. When you're trying on a helmet, it should feel snug all the way around with no pressure points. Grab the chin bar and try to rotate it. It shouldn't move much. If it spins freely, that helmet is too big for your head. And for the love of all things holy, replace your helmet after any significant impact and every 5 years, regardless. Because the foam inside degrades over time, even if you've never dropped it. That dusty helmet from 2016 sitting in your garage might look fine. It is not fine. Go buy a new one. Your brain will thank you. Your brain's not going to thank you because brains can't talk, but you get what I mean. Item 2, an armored riding jacket number 2, the riding jacket. And this is the one that gets the most pushback from people, particularly in the summer, and I understand why. It is hot. Riding gear is not always comfortable. Wearing a full textile jacket when it's 92 degrees out feels like wearing a sleeping bag to the gym. But here's a fun fact about asphalt. It does not care about your comfort level. Asphalt has no feelings. Asphalt simply exists, and it will remove your skin with stunning efficiency if you ever make unplanned contact with it at any meaningful speed. A quality riding jacket does two things. It abrasion resists and it protects. The abrasion resistance is the outer shell, whether that's leather, which is still the gold standard for abrasion protection, or a high denier textile like cordura, which is what most modern riding jackets are made from. High denier just means the threads are thicker and more tightly woven. A 600 denier cordura jacket is decent. 1,000 denier or higher is excellent. If your jacket doesn't tell you what denier it is, that's not a great sign. The second thing is the armor. A proper riding jacket is going to have CE-rated armor in the shoulders and elbows at minimum, and a pocket for a back protector. CE Level 1 armor is the baseline. CE Level 2 is significantly better and is what I'd personally recommend for anyone riding on the street. Now here's where a lot of people get tripped up. Some jackets come with foam padding instead of actual CE-rated armor. Foam is not armor. Foam is a pool toy. Check what's actually in your jacket before you assume you're protected. The summer heat problem, by the way, has a real solution. Mesh riding jackets exist, and the good ones flow enough air that riding in them is actually cooler than riding in a t-shirt because they act like a wind scoop. You still get the armor. You still get some abrasion resistance. You are not a sweaty, miserable mess on your commute. It's not a perfect solution. A mesh jacket is not going to protect you the same way a leather jacket will. But it is dramatically better than a hoodie, which I feel the need to say because I have seen the hoodie thing too many times. Item 3. Motorcycle-specific gloves. Number 3, gloves. And here is something that I think about probably more than a normal person should. When you fall off a motorcycle, not if, when statistically, your hands go out first. It's an involuntary human reflex. You've been doing it since you were a toddler. You fall, your hands come out to catch you. Except now you're falling off a motorcycle at 40 miles an hour, and your hands are going to make contact with the ground before basically any other part of your body. This is exactly why gloves might be the single most impactful piece of gear you can wear relative to their cost. Motorcycle-specific gloves are built with palm sliders, which are hard plastic or carbon fiber panels on the palm of the glove designed to take the initial impact and let you slide rather than grip and tumble. They have knuckle protection. The good ones have wrist bracing. And they are made from materials that are actually designed to resist the friction of sliding across pavement, which again, regular gloves are not. Here's the mistake I see constantly. People buy riding gloves that look cool and have zero actual protection. There are gloves out there that are technically marketed as motorcycle gloves that have about as much protective capability as a pair of gardening gloves with some perforations cut into them. They look great. They feel great. They will not save your hands in a crash. When you're buying gloves, check for CE certification on the knuckle and palm protection. EN 13594 is the standard you're looking for in Europe. And while the US doesn't have a mandatory equivalent, gloves built to that standard are going to be your best bet regardless of where you live. One more thing. Cold weather gloves and warm weather gloves are different products for a reason. Cold hands on a motorcycle are not just uncomfortable. They slow your reaction time, reduce your grip strength, and make it harder to operate your controls precisely. A pair of thin summer gloves in 40-degree weather is nearly as bad as no gloves at all from a functional standpoint. Get yourself 2 pairs if you ride year-round. Your hands work hard enough already. Item 4. Riding boots. Number 4, and this is the one I feel like nobody talks about enough. Boots. Specifically, motorcycle-specific riding boots with ankle protection, and I cannot stress the ankle part enough. Ankles are one of the most commonly injured body parts in motorcycle accidents, and they are almost completely unprotected in regular footwear. Sneakers, even nice ones, even the really expensive ones that you paid too much for and felt slightly guilty about, offer essentially zero lateral ankle support in a crash scenario. Here's what happens in a lot of low-speed crashes. The bike goes down, your foot gets caught underneath, and your ankle takes a lateral force that it was simply not designed to handle. The ligaments tear, sometimes the bones break, and that's in a low-speed crash. The ankle joint is a complicated piece of engineering, and when it fails badly and it heals slowly. I have met riders who walked away from genuinely terrifying crashes without a scratch because of their gear, and I have met riders who were laid up for months after a relatively minor drop because they were wearing the wrong footwear. Motorcycle boots come in a huge range of styles now. There are ones that look like regular sneakers. There are ones that look like work boots. There are ones that look like hiking boots. You do not have to look like you're about to race at Laguna Seca to have adequate ankle protection. Adventure bike boots in particular have gotten extremely good at balancing protection and walkability, which is important because unlike a race boot, you're actually expected to, walk around in these things when you get where you're going. The key features you want are a reinforced ankle cup or ankle protection system, a stiff sole that won't fold up under the brake pedal, oil resistance on the sole, and ideally some waterproofing or at least water resistance for those days where the weather app lied to you again, which, in my experience, is most days. Item 5. High visibility gear, or vest number 5. High visibility gear. And before you say anything, yes, I know, it's not cool, it's not the aesthetic. Nobody pins a photo of a high-vis vest to their motorcycle mood board. I understand. But let me reframe this for you, because visibility is a safety item in the most literal possible sense, and the data on this is genuinely hard to argue with. Going back to the Hurt Report, which was this landmark study on motorcycle accidents conducted in 1981 by Harry Hurt and his team at USC, and yes, I'm citing a study from 1981 because the fundamentals of human perception have not dramatically changed since then. They found that the failure of other drivers to detect and recognize motorcycles in traffic was the predominating cause of motorcycle accidents, not rider error, not speed. Other drivers not seeing the motorcycle. That is the number one factor. Now, you can be the most skilled rider on the road, you can practice invisibility training, you can do everything right, and someone can still pull out in front of you because your black jacket on your black bike on a gray road on an overcast day gave them essentially nothing to detect visually at 100 meters out. High visibility gear buys you time. It buys you the fraction of a second where the driver's brain processes that something is there before they make a decision. And at highway speeds, fractions of seconds are everything. The good news is you don't have to look like a construction worker. High-vis gear has gotten genuinely good looking in recent years. There are textile jackets with high-vis panels built in. There are reflective accents that are subtle in daylight and extremely bright when headlights hit them at night. And if you absolutely cannot bring yourself to wear high-vis, at least get a vest that goes over your existing jacket. It takes about 4 seconds to put on, and it makes a meaningful difference in how visible you are to other road users. Think of it this way. You already bought a loud exhaust so people can hear you. Let them see you too. Item 6, earplugs. Number 6, earplugs. And this one gets eye rolls every single time I bring it up. So let me just front load the science here because the science is damning. Wind noise at highway speeds is loud, like genuinely, clinically, measurably loud. At 60 miles per hour, wind noise inside a helmet can reach anywhere from 85 to 100 decibels, depending on your helmet, your body position, and whether or not you're wearing a full face versus an open face or half helmet. The threshold for noise-induced hearing damage, according to OSHA, which is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, not a type of cheese, is 85 decibels over an 8-hour period. At 100 decibels, damage can begin in under 2 hours. Think about how long your average weekend ride is. 3 hours? 4? 5 if you really get going and lose track of time, which happens to the best of us. You're doing meaningful, cumulative, permanent damage to your hearing every single time you ride without ear protection. And the insidious thing about noise-induced hearing loss is that you don't feel it happening. There's no pain. There's no obvious moment where something goes wrong. It just slowly and steadily erodes your hearing over years. And then one day you're at a family dinner and everyone is annoyed because you keep saying, "What?" And your significant other is giving you the look. And that's when you realize something's wrong. By then it's too late because hearing loss from noise damage is permanent. There's no fixing it. Motorcycle earplugs are not the same as blocking all sound. Good foam or filtered earplugs reduce wind noise, which is the damaging frequency range, while still allowing you to hear horns, sirens, and other riders. Some filtered earplugs specifically cut the frequencies that cause damage while preserving conversational sounds. They cost between $5 and $40 depending on whether you want disposable foam or reusable filtered ones. That is genuinely the cheapest item on this list and arguably one of the most important over a riding lifetime. I'll be honest with you, I was late to this one myself. I thought earplugs were for old people and people who didn't enjoy motorcycles properly. I was wrong. I was young and I was wrong, and now I wear them on every single ride and I can still hear the exhaust note perfectly fine through them, which is the follow-up question I always get. Yes, you can still enjoy the sound of your bike. Yes, you should still wear earplugs. Both things are true simultaneously. Item 7. A quality motorcycle lock or GPS tracker number 7. And this one is going to feel a little different from the rest of the list, because I want to make the case that theft prevention is absolutely a safety item, and here's why. Motorcycle theft is extraordinarily common. Motorcycles are easy to steal. They're small, they're light, they can be loaded into a van in under a minute by two people who know what they're doing, and they're worth a lot of money on the secondary market for parts. A car with a steering wheel lock and a modern immobilizer is a substantially harder target than most motorcycles. Your bike is a target. Full stop. Now, the safety argument goes like this. When your bike gets stolen, one of two things happens. Either you lose it entirely, which is devastating financially and emotionally, particularly if you commute on it or if it's a bike you've put serious time and money into. Or, and this is the one people don't think about, you have insurance. You file a claim, you get paid out, and then you go buy another bike. But here's the thing. The window between having your bike stolen and getting your payout is a period where some riders make impulsive decisions about transportation. They borrow someone else's bike they're not familiar with. They rush into buying a replacement without properly evaluating it. Disruption causes risk. More directly, if your bike gets stolen out from under you while you're parked somewhere, say someone attempts to ride it away while you're watching, that creates a confrontation scenario. People have been hurt trying to stop a theft in progress. Not worth it. Ever. No motorcycle is worth a physical confrontation with someone who is already demonstrating that they're willing to steal. So what do you actually get? Two things, and ideally both. First, a disc lock. A disc lock is a small padlock that clamps onto your brake rotor and prevents the wheel from turning. It doesn't make your bike unstealable. Nothing makes your bike unstealable. But it makes your bike harder to steal than the next bike over, and that is genuinely how theft prevention works. Thieves are opportunists. They take the easy target. Be a harder target. Second, a GPS tracker. Hide it somewhere on the bike. There are small ones now, like the Monomoto or the Apple AirTag, paired with a mounting solution that are small enough to tuck away completely out of sight. If your bike does get taken, the recovery rate for GPS-tracked motorcycles is significantly higher than for untracked ones, for the fairly obvious reason that you know where the bike is. The GPS tracker costs somewhere between $30 and $200, depending on what you go with. A stolen motorcycle costs you your deductible at minimum and your bike's entire value at worst. The math is not complicated. Lock the bike, track the bike, sleep better at night. And that's our list. 7 motorcycle safety items you shouldn't overlook. A quality certified helmet, an armored riding jacket, motorcycle-specific gloves, riding boots with ankle protection, high visibility gear, earplugs, and a lock or tracker for your bike. None of these things are glamorous. None of them are going to make your Instagram feed look cooler. But every single one of them is the kind of thing you will be extremely grateful for in the moment you actually need it. And hopefully that moment never comes. But statistically, over a riding lifetime, some version of it does for most of us. The good news is that gear has genuinely never been better than it is right now. The stuff available to riders today compared to what existed in, say, 1985 is night and day. You can be well protected and not look ridiculous and not spend an absolute fortune doing it. There's really no excuse left. The gear exists. The information exists. You are literally watching a video about it right now. If this video helped you out, smash that like button. Leave a comment letting me know which one of these you were already doing and which one you've been skipping. No judgment. I've been on both sides of that list. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button because we drop new videos every week and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Head over to carlnewmerch.com to grab some merch and get entered into the bike giveaway. Every dollar is an entry. And if you need gear, tires, or anything else riding related, check out onemoto.co. Same deal. Every dollar is an entry to win. I'll catch you in the next one. Fact: the average human adult has 206 bones in their body. Wearing proper riding gear means you're statistically less likely to see most of them from the outside. Goodbye.